Yo, what's up? Shadowstar here to do a three chapter review of Fairy Tale from chapters it is 58, 59, and 458, 459, and 460. There we go. Sorry about that. As usual, my fucking jaw is keeping me busy. And by busy, I mean keeping me out in the field longer than I really want to be. Anyway, that aside, uh, I went ahead and skimmed through the last three chapters that I missed. I got a bunch of likes on it and a bunch of disappointments. Like, I'm pretty sure the disappointments are a lot of people's gripes as well, but I'll get to that as I go through them. I'm going to go ahead and skim through the first few chapters as quick as I can. Alright, this is chapter 458. Okay, see, we got the traditional cover page of Natsu and Happy in front of a train. Happy's eating a fish. One of the things I don't understand about the guy who made this manga, why is Happy even there? I mean, never mind, I'll get to that at another time. Anyway, the chapter starts off with Erzer go ahead and slashing the Sandu Ijil. Again, I'm pretty sure I'm butchering his name, but I don't really care at this point. It's like he's basically shocked that she harmed him. I mean, you can pretty much see that he's coughing up blood, saying that it's impossible, whatever. It's freaking Erza. And she's using a water blade on him. So, a sword, water sword. Which shocks him since he was pretty sure that he could never be cut. It's this sword Poseidon hardens your sand. Alright, going through it. I know what a lot of people are thinking. He stole it from One Piece. I really don't care. I mean, it's a known fact that water hardens sands. And they had to find a way to beat this dude sooner or later, so I don't really see this being a problem. Plus, one of my favorite points is I like the fact that she found a legitimate way to beat him rather than some bullshit, I'm going to believe in my friend so much that I can hurt you. No, this is a legitimate tactic. So I can go ahead and bypass the everybody's gripes about this being a steal from One Piece, whatever. And he gets pissed off, calling himself the great Arzer. Azar. Okay, so his name is Arzer. Saying that, what's her name, Brandish, he basically creates a giant sandstorm around the city, and Brandish is saying that he really didn't have to go that far. The Judge Badman dudes, he's like surprised that Aza is facing someone who has forced him to use Sand World, which basically covers up the entire city. So they're surprised by this, and he's just basically attacking Erza from behind all this crap while proclaiming that he's God and all that. So that's pretty much how that's turning out. And Erza is currently getting her ass beat now. He's holding up Erza, looking like he's about to kill her. And it's like she goes on to one of her little friendship speeches before donning an armor called Armor of the Morning Star. Now see, I actually like this chapter. Why? because it made fucking sense. The reason why the chapters made sense is Erza found a legitimate way to harm him. He got pissed, he went all out, and he started beating her. Just as he's about to finish her, she dons a new armor called Armor of the Morning Star. I do gotta admit that one of my friends said that Erza armor is pretty much no different than Batman's fucking utility belt. That's pretty much like true. Anyway, he makes a sand out of he makes a axe out of sand, and he goes ahead and tries to decapitate her. And this is why I say that I like this chapter. Why? Because her armor of the Morning Star basically lights up like a beacon, and because of that, Biska, she's able to see Erza's armor lighting up like that, and she knows where to shoot. So Biska goes ahead, fires her giant Jupiter cannon weapon, pretty much destroys his whole fucking ship and damages him. Erza takes that opportunity to finish him off with her Nakagami Starlight armor. And that's pretty much the end of him. Hold up, be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, Erza goes ahead and finishes him off. And that's the end for, like, everybody's Noticing the Sandstorm. And that's the end for chapter 458. Alright. Things I like about this chapter. I like the chapter completely. Why? Because the chapter made sense. There was only one friendship speech, and that friendship speech, had played no real role in them beating it at all. Played no real role in beating the enemy. The only reason why she said that friendship speech is because she was getting pissed off about him thinking he's God and all that crap. In the end, they beat him using tactics. Erza found a weapon, her water weapon can hurt him. She used her morning ardor to light up like a supernova so that her teammates could see him. They used their Jupiter cannon to destroy the ship and damage him in the process. And Erza finished him off with her Nakagami armor. Whatever the hell that armor was called. There is, like, one thing that I'm a bit confused about. If only her water blade could hurt him, then how the hell did her other armor hurt? You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna ignore that. Okay. Point is, the way they beat him made sense, and I enjoyed that. There was no bullshit in that chapter. Like, other than Erza having her freaking utility belt armor, there was no bullshit in that chapter. That was a legit chapter. So thumbs up for chapter 459. Anyway, we go to 450. That was 458. I'm doing 459 now. You're gonna have to bear with me. This is the first time I've done more than one chapter. Anyway, Erza, like, after they beat him, Erza begins falling out of the sky because she got the shit beat out of him. Let's be honest. He really did get in quite a few good hits on her, and she's passed the fuck out. Natsu notices this and then rushes after her. Alright, while I'm waiting for the next page to load, one thing I'd like to point out, Natsu and Erza. Okay, let's be honest, we all know Natsu's going to end up with Lucy, but with all the crap that Natsu and Erza have been through together, you'd think that they'd probably, like, by the end of this, those two would probably be the most likely to get married. Who knows? Maybe Mishima will go ahead and do some plot twist where Lucy finds somebody else to love and Natsu gets with Erza. Okay, anyway, moving that, Natsu's heading for there. Gujio tells Wendy to hurry up as well, to go as well, since Erza is pretty messed up. And they could, Gujio and Panther Lily can finish off the rest of the enemies. Okay, Natsu catches Erza, and he's telling her to hang in there. She does like the power up fist bump thing, like, yeah, I won, now you gotta take care of the rest. Natsu just smiles. Like I said, these two, like, if anybody should be canon, it's probably these two. But we both know that it's probably gonna be Lucy. Anyway, turning back to Lucy and Kano. Okay, this is one of my most disappointments in the arc thus far. Okay, remember how Lucy and Kano were getting ready to take down Brandish, the chick who can shrink shits and expand shit and all that good stuff, right? After the sandstorm stops, they turn back to Kano and notice that she's fucking sneezing. And she's freaking out because there's this weird pollen everywhere. And Lucy's looking like she has hay fever, and that sandstorm just stirred up all the hay fever just stirred up all the pollen throughout the city. Brian just keeps sneezing, and she's getting really annoyed. And the end result, Kano does something very smart. It doesn't change the fact that I'm disappointed, but Kano does something very smart. She walks behind Brandish and, well, knocks her the fuck out. Like, literally. Like, you see this? Yeah. Kano didn't wait for them. She's like, okay, I'll just wait for you to get that over with before I start fighting. No. She saw an opening, she took it, she knocked the bitch out, and end of story. Brandish is now down. Very disappointed, since I wanted to see Brandish fight, but whatever. Lucy's commented about no mercy, and I love Kano's line. She left herself so wide open. It's like she was begging me to do it. And what's her name? Like, they decide to go ahead and take her captor, and Kano's commenting like, I guess they're not all that cracked up to be. Okay, to that end, after that, we move over to the next round. Gray, Juvia, Lasana, Elfman, and Mira versus Judge Badman. And after the sandstorm drops, dude literally has like a whole round of dudes just waiting to fight them. I found Judge Badman's powers to be very, very interesting because there were 5 of them. Like, obviously he can make more than 5, but they go ahead and rush them, and the first one tries to punch Juvia, and the attack actually hurts her. The reason why? Because it uses steam. Gray sees this, and he goes ahead and starts an ice mate. The next robot fires like hold on. He's pulling a Natsu. He's pulling a fist fire thing. He's pulling a Natsu on Gray. And Gray gets like pretty much pushed back. So Gray is surprised he's using fire, and Juvia is commenting that her enemy uses steam. Elfman is trying to catch the next guy, but he turns out he's super fast, and Lysana can't even put a dent in hers. Gray is looking like, no, this is too much fucking coincidental. A flame user for me, a steam user for Juvia, for Elfman, who's all brute force, an incredibly agile type, and for the speedy Lasana power type. In other words, Gray quickly puts two and two together to find out that these dudes were designed to exploit their weaknesses. Then he makes like a single comment. I'm not sure if this is true, but he says, "Wait a second, Mira doesn't have any weaknesses." This is probably my only gripe with this chapter. There's literally a robot that looks like fucking Elfman attacking her while seemingly crying. And Gray is just like, that thing's so obviously fake. So, really, I'm starting to think Mishima might have like something against women, because honestly, the shit he pulls against the women are fucking retarded. I apologize for my language, but really, what the hell is up with this dude and like making women look so freaking pathetic? Like, he gets Brandis knocked out with hay fever, and then he makes Mira be unable to attack one of the robots because they look like her crying little brother, even though it's so fucking fake looking. That's whatever. Moving on. Batman quickly points out that his magic is weakness, allows him to construct soldiers that exploit enemies' shortcomings, the good and bad of humanity. I have the power to see through all. I do. And he says, and I quote, "I'll just leave things here to my weakness soldiers," and heads over to the chapel where Freed is at to take down Freed and his group so he can dissolve their barrier they got over the city. Like, after that, they're surprised that one of them points out in, what's his name? Bixlow and Evergreen, yeah. Bixlow and Evergreen comment that the airborne enemies in the western skies have been knocked out, and Erza and Bisca took out one of the 12. And like, that's when Batman shows up like super fast, so he's got some speed on him, and he quickly eliminates about the fact that taking out one of the 12 brings shame upon the 12. So, while Freed's keeping up the barrier, Bixlow and Evergreen are gonna fight him. And once again, he goes ahead and points out that he can create weakness soldiers. Soldiers look kinda like him. And like, Bixlow goes ahead and attack first. Let's see. And they fall down. Turns out Bixlow's magic is black magic, and as such, white magic can stop it. This white magic that this robot thing's using is called purification, and it wasn't even really anything special. His look. Hold up, let me go ahead and close that up. Like, see that? They just basically fell apart. It's retarded. Anyway, Evergreen tries using fairy bombs, and they create a mist that I guess blinds her. I'm not exactly sure, but it nullifies her power. They go ahead and use their eyes, and like, obviously they don't work on a bunch of robots. Interesting fact, it turns out that Judge Batman is actually a robot. Go figure. Like, straight up. This dude is legitimately a robot. He goes ahead and transforms into, I guess, a more combat state. He says, I am a machine, I am not a human. He's even starting to talk more like a robot, I guess you can say. So, Freed's surprised that there's robots that can use magic. Two of the robots get hit by, I guess, lightning. You can't really even see it that well. Like, I guess you could say, this is his, this is his true form, right? So obviously his true form looks a lot like his robots. And for here, it took me looking. Hold up, let's see. There we go. It took me looking at these guys a few times to notice that they were that there's like small zaps coming off them. And I guess the dead giveaway should have been two quotation points right there. Anyway, Freed is surprised that lightning hit them. They're thinking that what's his name? Loxus is there, but he's not. And I bust a gut when I saw who it was that popped up. The most useless yet supposedly badass, the most useless heavy hitter of the heavy hitters. Ichia. Straight up. Showing up looking like, okay, I'm the new Yoda right now. Let's do this shit. Straight up. And then he comments these things actually conduct electricity pretty well, especially conduct electricity pretty effectively. Thanks for that. It's ideal for my thunder perfume. So Ichia actually being a bit useful, surprisingly. But whatever the case is, that's the end of chapter 459. Moving on with last chapter that I hadn't been able to review, chapter 460. We got another fantastic fan service picture of Lucy. Yay. I mean, it's gotten to the point where the fan service is just getting pointless. We got a cool page of Erza transforming into Scylla, so that's decent. Then we got a picture of Gray and Juvia, like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of like that. Like, again, I do like the pairings, and this is a pretty decent pairing. No fan service, just Gray and Juvia hanging out on the taking in the sights. I can dig that. Anyway, they actually highlighted the fourth page on the start of the chapter. They highlighted like he actually looks pretty badass right there. Not gonna lie, he's got lightning coming off him, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, Evergreen and Bixler are surprised that he's even there. And what's his name? Judge Batman's looking like, who's this small fry? Ichia says, I cannot believe you would forget how cruelly you treated me. Well, no matter. First and foremost, I suppose I shall eliminate this ruffian. Like, Big Slow and Evergreen has no idea what he's talking about. But what's his name? Freed, he says, I failed to think that Ichia would bump into Loxus. I actually want to know what the hell happened between the two. I mean, we already know how how annoyed Ichia would be against like a hothead like Loxus, so it probably didn't end well. Anyway, Judge Batman goes ahead and says, no matter how many people show up, the outcome will remain the same. I see everything. All of your weaknesses are as plain as day as mine. And he goes like through a long list of weaknesses that crack me the fuck up. Like, first he notices, okay, the guy's ugly. He's excessively self-conscious. He has lower back pain. He's overweight. Smelly feet. 5 o'clock shadow. Low physical strength. Slow runner, and BO. Like, the fucking robot actually sweat drops. And, like, he's trying to look bad at. Like, there we go. You get Ichi trying to look badass, and the robot's actually sweat dropping. And, like, Judge Batman literally says, you have too many weaknesses for crying out loud. Analysis error. And he's like, man, that's just because my man. Like, it's ironic. He like, like Evergrade's like, I expect nothing less of Ichi. Like, he's trying to compliment him just to humor him, but Big Slow is just saying it straight up. To think that Ichiya has so many weaknesses that he can't focus on a single one. Alright, and Ichiya actually says something that I don't mind hearing. Like, although it may have been short-lived, but you all were once members of Blue Pegasus. In other words, you are my family. And I will never forget anyone who harms my family, whether they are fairies or demons, and that is not. Okay, so, yeah. Uchiha's being serious for once, anyway. So he goes ahead and tries to use poison perfume, but again, the guy's a fucking robot, so obviously that wasn't gonna work. And like, he like goes ahead and Batman decides to attack Ichi, saying you're an overabundance of weakness caused me to hesitate for just a moment. However, in the end, all that means is just you're pathetically weak. Is that you're just pathetically weak. Anyway, he goes ahead and like bitch smacks Ichigo across the fucking room. And then karate chops Big Slow. Like, after that, he like Evergreen is still dealing with the enemies, and he's commenting that they've encountered quite a weak, troublesome enemy. Uchiha goes back to being serious and uses thunder perfume, direct inhalation. Like, I'm sorry, but that does not seem fucking healthy. He's absorbing thunder magic through his perfume. Shouldn't his systems get shocked or some crap? Whatever. Anyway, he uses manly thunderbolt of justice. Commenting that machines are weak to electricity. So, he shocks him, but the robot points out, yeah, it's true that machines made of organic metal are susceptible to electricity. However, do you truly think that I, one who is assigned to the Sparagon 12, would not overcome such a weakness? So it has no effect on him. He used Volt's charge and like damages the tempo, and then he changes into a second form. Like, it looks more badass at the same time. Looks pretty damn retarded. Like, I think the only thing I have about, like, this is his second form, I guess you could say. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, this is his second form. I think the biggest gripe I got about this form is the neck. The neck looks fucking ridiculous. The rest of him, okay. Anyway, moving on. He changes into a different form and says, by absorbing electrical energy, I can enhance and augment my strength even further. So, with that, it's just like, that's a big problem. So none of their magic works. And Freed's about to, like, they quickly point out that even if Luxus showed up, this guy would be the biggest mismatch for him. So Freed's about to undo the barrier, uh, but then Luxus quickly tells him not to since they're about to attack the guild from the west. And he tells him self-preservation over your precious runes. If you don't dispel your runes, you'll be killed, and thus you dispel them without hesitation. And like, Bree's trying to figure out Lux is trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So he quickly they quickly point out that they tell him not to come. They say they are the Thunder God tribe and they're bodyguards. They exist to protect Luxus. Not just Luxus, but the entire guild. Like, so they go ahead and launch a new attack on him, but obviously they get knocked the fuck back. They go into another friendship speech spiel, and it's obviously not working. That's when they decide to do something very fucking smart. Okay, again, they're throwing in the friendship speeches here and there, and I honestly don't have a problem with it because they're using it as motivation. It's not the keystone for their victory. They're actually using their heads in this one. See, we switch back over to Gray's group, and they switched opponents. Like, they realize, okay, if my magic doesn't work against this guy, switch with me. I'll fight your guy, and you fight this guy. So Juvia starts taking out the guy that it was using the fire magic on Gray, and Gray deals with the guy who was using steam magic on Juvia. Gray probably should have had a little more trouble with him, but whatever. Anyway, so afterwards, Mira takes on the one that was using brute strength against Lysana. Lysana takes on the one that was using speed on Elfman, and Elfman takes on the Elfman lookalike. So the robots all start getting knocked down. Like, once they go against someone who else is the different magic, then they're a huge disappointment. Like, what's his name? Like, after Uchiha gets knocked down, I don't know if they hurt him or not, but apparently Big Slow and Evergreen decide to switch opponents too. She deals with the white magic one, and he takes care of the fog one. So they take out their robots, and then from there they go ahead and get a call from Natsu, who points out that they've opened up a can of whoop-ass on the invading forces from the west. Like, straight up, all you see is three Dragon Slayers, Panther Lily, and all of them just standing over a burning wasteland of soldiers that attacked them. Anyway, so the enemy from the west is taken care of, and Free looking like finally, because Free was about to be killed by the guy when he was taking up the when he was keeping the barrier standing, and he says, now I can dispel the barrier and fight to my heart's content. Uchiha actually gets up to his feet, and him and Free go ahead and enter their most powerful forms. Echoes of the Darkness, Severing Shadow, and Perfume of Power, Maximum Manliness, and just goes ahead and pretty much wrecks the shit out of Judge Badman. Yeah, that's the end of him. So they're talking they're disappointed, I guess you can say, that in the end Ichi managed to steal our thunder. I can never unsee that. So they're not exactly happy about it, but whatever. And like the next page is the last one. We cut over to the different groups. Let's see. Wendy's healing Erza. Kano and Lucy are making their way back to the guild while holding Brandish. We see fucking Batman's head just lying on the ground. And like Gray's group finished off the remainder of the robots. An interesting side note though, Gray lost his clothes, right? No big deal, but apparently Juvia lost her top as well. Like, don't get it twisted, she's still wearing a bra, this ain't hentai, but yeah, Juvia lost her fucking top. She's literally taken after Gray. So that's the end of the chapter, really. Like, they're just commenting how they've managed to take care of the first wave so far. And, like... Okay, that's the end of chapter 460. Alright, key points. Let's see. How should I say this? I don't like that Judge Batman was taken out so fucking quickly. I don't. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that they didn't use bullshit to beat him. I'm happy about that. But at the same time, he was a fucking Sparagon, right? Like, one of the ugly fairies, one of the filthy fairies, right? So why the hell, like, there's a huge difference between him and, I guess his name is Azir. I'll just call him Azir. There's a huge difference between him and Azir. Because after Freed and Ichi teamed up, they went ahead and just took him out in one attack. On the other hand, as for Azza, it took the combined power of the Jupiter cannon plus Erza damaging him to a great extent before he finally went down. Like, I'd have to say in the head-to-head fight, he'd probably get his ass kicked by Azza. And don't even get me started on Brandish. Like, she's probably stronger than, like, both of them. And at the same time, she lost because she was sneezing too much, leaving herself open, and Kano bopped her upside the head and knocked her ass out. Props for Kano for taking the opening and not just staring dumbfounded and waiting for the enemy to recover. At the same time, I don't like that that's how she got beaten. I don't mind Azza. The way he got beaten made sense. The way he got beaten was good. It was a fair battle. I like that. I can understand that. I can accept that battle. Brandish was fucking bullshit and we all know it. Judge Batman, he had some good magic. He was able to create soldiers that exploited the weaknesses. I don't like the way they treated Mira with, I can't attack something that looks vaguely like my little brother, but whatever. But he still had some good magic. He was able to keep the others busy. He was also doing some good damage to Ichi and the others. And it's like, okay, I'm dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4 different 3 people. Ichi, Big Slow, and Evergreen. And Evergreen and Big Slow, they weren't even fighting him. They were fighting his fucking robots. So as soon as Big Slow gets free, as soon as Natsu and the others take down the army, and thereby letting Freed go ahead and attack, he takes him out with one attack along with Ichi. That's bullshit. He should have been able to. He should have been able to handle that. Like the fight should have lasted at least one more chapter. But whatever. So that was the first wave of Sparagon. The attack from Sparagon. Let's see. Judge Batman, Brandish, and Azza have all been beaten. That means that out of 12, they are now down to 9. There are now 9 more Sporagans left. Obviously, if Ichi is there, then probably more Pegasus are going to show up. Let's also not forget that Jalal, along with his boys, are going to show up too. Most likely, Mermaid Scale and what do they call Sabretooth are going to show up at some point just because they got to get into the action. Like, I don't know how many chapters going to be before those groups show up, but whatever. The first wave's been done with. Okay, I'm guessing next chapter is going to be a rest and relaxation period before, or they could just go ahead and get attacked. I'm going to go for rest and relaxation period only because that seems like it's the way it's going to go. Anyway, so that's my review for chapters 58, 458, 459, and 460. We get some good intel. Like, I like the way it went. I like the way some of the parts of it went. I don't like the way a couple of the other parts went. I'd say it was more or less just because some of the parts were really bad. I'd say that they kind of hyped it up. So 50-50. I know that might not seem kind of fair to somebody, but that's the way I see it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll go ahead and hopefully they don't pop up in train. I can go ahead and put out a review next week. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and get some sleep. I'll see you guys in chapter 461. Till then, Shadowstar signing out.